No, you have a director, Vice President Glenn, continue, sir. You're fine.
All right.
Hey, Vice President Glenn, we need a motion to come out of closed sessions. We need a motion from the board. Yes, sir.
All right, let's have a roll call vote to come out of closed session.
We need a motion. We need a motion. I bring forth a motion. Director Webb bring forth the motion to come out of closed session.
All right, Director Webb, motion. Director Wallace waved his hand. I could see it. Second. Roll call vote.
President Request?
Yes.
Vice President Lennon?
Yes.
Director Ben Stewart?
Yes.
Director Alfred Wallace?
Yes.
Director Greg Wood?
Yes.
5-0. We're out of closed session, and now we're going to open the regular meeting at 6:05. This is a spot for public comment. Anyone who's listening would like to say something to the board or ask a question, now's the time.
Yes, I would.
Go ahead.
Yes, I am a concerned resident of Rosamond, and what the board did...
Got to be a little louder.
And what the board did... Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
A little bit louder still.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I guess we're picking you up.
Okay, I wanted to know, why did the board do what they did to us when the pandemic was going on and they had closed meetings and put stuff back on our property taxes, especially when you have widows out here that cause our house notes to go up. I recently lost my husband. My name is Darlene Wells. And I had called Mr. Perez several times to discuss my matter with him, and he never did call me back. I called him at least 6 times.
What was your name again, ma'am?
Darlene Wells.
Darlene Wells. Okay, thank you. We're not prepared really to answer a question like that. The general manager's heard you, and I'm sure.
I didn't get a message to call her, and I will call her tomorrow and answer her questions. Being this is public comment, I can answer that if the board so wishes me to. That'd be fine with me.
Yeah. Did you hear his response, Darlene?
Yes, I did. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I think that's a question that all of us need to know as to why why you place that on our property tax, the water and the sewage. I still don't have a complete understanding as to why.
Well, I'm sure the general manager will be explaining that to you so you can understand it. You may not agree with it, but hopefully you can understand.
That's a different woman. I think that was never Lewis. And never, what I'll do is I'll do a report at the next meeting, if that's okay, and report to you and answer your question.
Thank you. But I do want to make this statement. It was brought up in a meeting, and when you brought up that in the meeting, the people that was at the meeting, we stated that we did not want it on our property tax. Now, I know that you guys know that when you send something out through the mail and you're supposed to get it returned to you for voter
Steve, this is Director Webb. Can I just address something kind of quick? I know that you're gonna address it, in a full report. And this is to the community, folks. When we look at things that's going to be the best fiscally responsible way to run the district and take care of the community. And when we do things, none of this we do is underhanded, just to try to get by. But I will share this with the community. When we look at numbers and the things we look at, we were losing money by not being able to collect certain dollar amounts. And in essence, you, the people that are asking the questions now, were subsidizing other people. And what we were hoping to do is to balance it across the board so everyone pays their fair share. And I want everyone to understand also that when the board votes on something, the same, and for lack of a better term, impact that it has on the community, it has on the board members. We do not get a pass because we vote something in one way or the other. If we vote something, we're hoping to present something that's going to have the best impact across the board. And this is specifically addressing what went on the property taxes. But Steve's going to do a report, and we've talked about it at length. Perhaps, even one of the meetings, it didn't get completely clarified, and will take care of that. But I want the community to know and understand that when the 5 board members, anything we vote on, the same impact the community has, we have. And when we vote on something, just a moment, please. When we vote on certain things, we're hoping to balance it out so that everyone pays a fair share for the services that we all have to use. And I'm talking about the property taxes that are there. I think you could have been talking about maybe the water rates, the second person, but I just want, when we vote on anything, we're hoping to have the best impact across the board for the community as a whole. And the general manager, he'll have a report for you folks, and he'll present it to you. But I just want you folks to know that we are not doing anything underhanded. There's no shenanigans. We all give deep thought into it because the same people that pay these rates here, we see them every day in our community. Thank you guys very much.
Can I speak now?
I certainly understand that. I feel that you, the board, is exempt from paying anything. But don't bring it to the community if you have already made up in your mind what is best for the community. If you ask us, you're going to voice our opinion. I am going to voice my opinion. But don't make a decision and then in the board and then come out, because what you're saying there, it appears as if the decision was already made, even though I knew that it was already made when I received that letter, because the majority of the people in Rosamond will not respond to something that is written. But if you put it there on the ballot when we go to vote, then people of Rosamond will have a better chance because the majority of the people in Rosamond vote. But when you send out a letter asking, people are not sending it back because they do not. A lot of people don't read their mail, and that's what happens.
Excuse me, can I speak? This is Doreen Wells again. I just wanted to know why did that occur like that when we had voted? In other words, you did not respect our vote. And then everybody is saying the same thing. Hey, wait a minute. Everybody is saying the same thing. Everybody don't make the same income. Okay? I'm a one-person household here. And what that did is put my taxes over $5,000. And that's just ridiculous to pay that amount in this community out here in Rosamond. Look at the conditions. We have all of this trash, weed, and empty fields and tumbleweeds, and paying all these taxes and don't get any service. None. Yep. I think that's totally unfair. So don't say that you're not trying to do something underhanded. Yes, you did. And that's the way that I feel. And Steve,
we can't affect how you feel or how you think, but the general manager will give a report on the understanding of it. And I understand that you don't necessarily have to agree with that, you understand whether you agree with it or not. We need to move on. Anybody else for public comment?
Gary.
Anyone else? How are you?
Good.
Can you hear what that is? Move on. Let's just move on. I'm stepping down as the director and going to read again as a public comment something taken from my father's notes. Presentation to the public of Rosamond in a meeting about 70 years ago. And a couple of these statements kind of apply to what we're actually saying and thinking. We need citizens who know, citizens who can do, and citizens who care. Our greatest natural resource is the intelligence of our people. The best protection and advancement of this resource lies in the intellectual capacities of all of our citizens, especially the young. Will they be leaders of tomorrow? Critical thinking and sound moral judgment are the foundation for good citizenship. And when I referred to citizens who know and citizens who can do, every citizen needs to speak up at the appropriate time. Or just that one? All right. The Xbox is hard to get just like the PS5. Somebody's got your phone on there or something, your speaker.
They should mute their phone.
All right. This is the point for voluntary public roll call. Anyone who wants to acknowledge your presence at the meeting from the teleconference.
Yes, thank you for the invitation. This is John Joyce reporting for the Rosamond News.
How are you doing, sir?
Well, how about you?
Pretty good. You get your feet on the floor this morning?
Yep.
That's the important part. Anybody else wants to be recognized?
Never Lewis.
That's the same moment. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Darlene Wells. Darlene Wells.
Yeah, we've got you, Darlene.
Thank you.
I need a motion.
Director Webb.
Director Webb makes a second. Roll call vote. Consent calendar CC1.
President Rick Webb,
Yes.
Vice President Eric Lennon,
Yes.
President Stewart, Director Ben Stewart,
Yes.
Director Alfred Wallace,
Yes.
Director Greg Wood.
Yes.
Unanimous. Consent calendar passed. Presentation PR1 water reclamation plan, kind of an update. Rock, what's going on out there?
Thank you and good evening. At the wastewater treatment plant, the contractor is finishing all the minor tasks required to start testing and certifying equipment. Since the last meeting, the contractor installed the 20-inch headworks valve, set the remaining 4 sluice gates at distribution box 1 and 2, and set instrumentation and tied into the 3 new sludge pumps. The electrician completed determinations of the junction boxes at all utility water pumps and completed the needed testing, and then continued to terminate wires at the panels in the blower building. The coating subcontractor is on site working to complete all of the coating throughout the plant, and the pipeline subcontractor completed all of their underground piping and tie-ins, and they are now off of the job site. Blower and clarifier testing is now scheduled to start next week, and the aeration basin testing will follow that.
Anybody have questions for Brock?
questions.
All right, thank you, sir. Move on to director's reports, comments, and any desire to add
New business.
Oh,
New business.
oh, we've already done the new business.
No, we didn't.
Oh,
that
we
was
did?
presentation.
Oh, I flipped the page. Sorry.
But we did presentation.
New business, NB1, approve the integrated region management, the IRWMP MOU, and you're back on, Brock.
The MOU before you tonight is an update to the existing Irwin MOU the district originally entered in 2007. The MOU has been updated multiple times over the years to cover plan updates, the continuation of the AV Irwin program, and ongoing grant support for the Prop 1 grant funding that this district has received. This update is no different and will fund the continuation of the program. With this update is a 1.5% cost share equaling $2,308 for the district, what we would consider a very small cost for what we have received from this program. So with that, staff recommends approving the Irwin MOU before you tonight.
Brock, can you state that amount that we received?
I don't have it off the top of my head, Steve. I apologize, but it's very close to $1.1 million in Prop 1 funding for the wastewater treatment plant expansion.
Thank you, that's what I needed. How often do they update that, Brock?
So there's regulatory requirements for the update of the plan. The most recent update was the 2020 update, but this Irwin MOU, specifically the MOU, was last updated in 2019. So it depends. There's regulatory requirements that require certain plan updates. So it's when the elements of the plan need to be updated, but it seems to be every 2 to 3 years.
Okay. Greg, you have any questions?
No, I don't have any questions.
Rick, you have any questions?
I don't have a question. I just have a statement. My compliments to the staff on preparing this here. I reviewed the old one there, and a lot of work goes into it, and you folks were real diligent in getting it completed. So my compliments to you folks on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Ben, any questions?
No, sir.
Thank you for your report, Brock. Okay, now director's report. And
Now you need a motion and a second to vote.
resolution accepted. Oh, okay, I need a motion to approve the integrated regional management motion plan. Motion by Director Wallace,
Second, Director Webb.
second by Director Webb. Roll call vote.
President Rickland,
Yes.
Vice President Lauren Glennon,
Yes.
Director Ben Stewart,
Yes.
Director Alfred Wallace,
Yes.
Director Greg White.
Yes.
5-0. Thank you, Bob. Thank you. Director's reports, comments, future agenda items. Start with Director Wood.
Yes, thank you, Vice President Glennon. I would like to bring to everyone's attention, as you're all well aware, Steve and I, along with Brian and Villacorta, but we attended the workshop with CASA, which is the California Association of Sanitary Agencies, back a month or so ago. And CASA just had their annual conference in San Diego in 2021 titled Building a Resilient Future. And even though the Rosamond Community Services District did not receive an award, we were nominated for 2 awards. The categories were Outstanding Capital Project, Excellence in Innovation and Resiliency, Organizational Excellence, and Excellence in Public Outreach Education. we received a nomination for Outstanding Capital Project, and we also received a nomination for Excellence in Public Outreach Education. These are agencies throughout the state of California that submit their projects, and they pick anywhere from 3 to 4 nominees, and then they award the winning agency with the award. I think it was very exciting the fact that the Rosamond Community Services District received 2 nominations out of the 4 categories. And I would like to take a moment and read under the capital project, Outstanding Capital Project, where it says, Rosamond Community Services District, faced with the need to retire their existing wastewater treatment plant, the Rosamond Community Services District saw an opportunity to rethink water treatment and contribute both to healing their aquifer and providing greater water independence. The new Rosamond Water Reclamation Plant project saw retirement of 50-year-old evaporation ponds, refurbishment of the existing aeration basin and clarifier, as well as the construction of 6 new sludge ponds, 3 percolation ponds, an emergency overflow basin, and a significantly higher capacity aeration basin and clarifier. This greater capacity will serve the growing community for decades and has earned Rcsd 1,200 acres of groundwater pumping credits. These credits make up over 40% of the groundwater pumping deficit created by the recent adjudication. Despite the onset of the pandemic, just a few months after breaking ground, the project remained on budget and on time, except for additions requested by Rcsd. And then moving on to the category of Excellence in Public Outreach Education. Again, Rosamond Community Services Water Reclamation Plant Construction Community Outreach. Investment of public funds should be done in an accountable and transparent manner. Recognizing this, Rosamond Community Services District began a comprehensive outreach plan when they broke ground on the $15 million Rosamond Water Reclamation Plant in November 2019. The center of this plan was monthly photos and videos captured by drone. Each month, a 360-degree interactive panorama was posted to the Rcsd website that allowed the public to explore the construction site from the safety of their computer or mobile device. These panoramas were accompanied by the cost state of the project, recap videos that showed the progress of construction. We also periodically produced and distributed, culminating in a recently released final video. Additionally, notes from the updates presented at board meetings were distributed to local media, resulting in several articles. Collectively, this effort kept Rcsd's ratepayers informed as to where their money was going and how it would benefit them. And you know what? Even though we didn't win the award we were in the competition with several outstanding projects throughout the state of California. The fact that we received 2 nominations out of 4 categories, I just want to ask the district and district staff and everybody involved in this, you know what, take a bow. Because you guys, this is because of your hard work and your dedication to this agency and the community that got these nominations to begin with. And I want to thank staff and the board and everybody involved with this. A heartfelt thank you and gratitude from the bottom of my heart for this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Director Wood. Director's comments, Director Wallace.
No.
Director Stewart.
Good evening, everyone, and I'm going to echo what I've said in the past. With the recent rise in the COVID thing, I'm just requesting everybody, do your due diligence, use your hand sanitizers. If you believe in the mask, then wear the mask. I think we should be following guidelines. Be safe out there and make great decisions. That's all I got for tonight.
Thank you, sir. Director Webb.
Thank you, Vice President Glennon. Hey, I agree. I wanted to echo what Director Stewart said about the World Union Park. Seems like every time we think we cleared a hurdle, they raise it a little bit higher, so we'll get through that. And as far as being nominated for those awards, that is a job well done. But I think that if you look at the size of the district, if you look at the size of our district, you're not surprised about the nominations because we have some very capable people. So I share, along with the other directors, and telling you folks, thank you very much. And you don't have to win the prize to win the big award. And that's the fact that you guys helped, and you are still helping give us a product that really can have long-term benefits. So thank you. Thank you, Vice President Gunner.
Thank you, sir. My comments report is going to be some numbers, and I know numbers are hard to follow, but I'll try to kind of give you as clear as I can. Most of you know and are aware of the recent Senate bill, which was passed for $1.2 trillion for infrastructure. And they have really changed the definition of infrastructure. They've completely destroyed it, I think. The definition of the term is in the process of being evolving and changing our language. The vote was 69 to 30 in the Senate. It's now before the House. The House bill is 3684. Here's a breakdown of that bill. It's for $1.2 trillion for infrastructure. $8.3 billion is for Western water infrastructure. And that's really infrastructure. That's 60% of the bill. And I'm sure there's some port projects in that. $3.3 billion is for wildfire. That's 23% of the infrastructure. And I don't know how they're going to make that really fit in the definition. And I'm sure there's some work in that one, but it definitely needs some. But then $2.1 billion is for ecosystem restoration. That is a bunch of boondoggle projects, I believe. Let me give you a general breakdown. The water is for groundwater storage, conveyance projects. It's for aging infrastructure that needs to be replaced. It's for water projects. It's for recycling, reuse projects, similar to what we have. There's a little bit of money for desalinization. And then there's a little bit of money for grants. And grants mean people getting money sitting on the desk, moving papers around. That's what grants mean to some degree. The wildfire is for thinning projects, which makes a lot of sense. Defense grants, prescribed fees, fuel breaks, and vegetation management. The ecosystem is broken down into three areas. $300 million for stewardship grants. That's just paperwork. $200 million for good neighbor agreements in the ecosystem. $200 million for good neighbor agreements. And then $400 million for restoration projects. That infrastructure bill, again, 60% is for water infrastructure. That makes a lot of sense. And some of the fire probably makes a lot of sense too. But that's moving on to the House. And you know what they're going to do in the House? They're going to do what? Increase it even more. But we talk about the idea of having customers in Rosamond concerned with their water costs. These are the reasons why things get passed on to water districts that cost us more and more money to provide water. General counsel update. He was here earlier in person. Had no report. No report. General manager update.
Yeah, Ben touched on it as far as the COVID goes. We've had COVID touch our facility here, and once again, we're reacting out of an abundance of caution, and hopefully next week we'll be able to go full staff back. We split our crews so we don't lose a crew or two, and we're trying to be as diligent as we can and have the offices sanitized and taking every precaution we can. It appears to be pretty serious. Everybody has to make their own decisions, but I know that a close friend of my son's passed away. He was pretty healthy, 42-year-old guy, and they came pretty close to home, and it's a no joke. So, like Ben said, use caution and stay safe.
All right. Assistant General Manager update. Is that?
Good evening. I have nothing to report tonight.
Thank you, ma'am. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Thank you for asking.
All right. Public Works update. John House. Or Brock.
Thank you. Just wanted to provide a brief update here. As Steve mentioned, we had to take some precautions and split up staff, but staff has still been able to take care of the needs of the district. We completed our monthly meter readings since the last billing cycle, and we've done that with limited public works staff and limited customer service staff. So hats off to them for working so hard to get this done in the limited time we have. And then on top of that, we also complete 19 service line leak repairs. August historically has always been our busiest time of year for service line leaks, and this year is no different. So we're out there working hard to get these taken care of, and hopefully everybody will be back and healthy soon.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Anything else for the good of the cause before we adjourn? Hearing nothing, did I have a motion to adjourn? Make a motion to adjourn. Director Wallace, motion to adjourn. Second. Do I have a second? Greg Wood. We don't need a roll call for this, do we?